What is freaking up? My name is Eve.
My name is Sarah.
And we are BurntOutPerfectionists.
Heck yes, we are.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday?
Monday. If we do choose to split up the episodes, I guess I'll have to be like, happy insert day of the week here.
I just get you to do a voice memo that's like, Happy Wednesday, Happy Friday. Because you say it in the same tone, so I could probably just keep it and be like, pop that in there.
I'm just consistent. Freaking. We actually haven't recorded in about 2.5 weeks.
We haven't. We had some banked episodes, and then we decided to do re-release and re-edit of a series based around grief and stuff like that. So it's based around it's right around the same happy second year anniversary. It's like the same week that our dad died.
Literally, we posted the freaking first episode.
Yeah.
Not 1 year.
Yeah.
2 year.
But that's grief for you.
Let's try to do math.
The math and I, we have a complicated relationship. We're slowly rebuilding it through the sheets that my child brings home.
But on today's episode, we thought, with it being our anniversary, we're going to say anniversary, couple of weeks. We thought we would bring it back to it's a generational thing and kind of give an update on, it's been a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
What we feel like have changed about our generations. If you were unaware, Sarah is a millennial.
Oh, yes.
I am a Gen Z.
Mm-hmm. We were raised by, they're technically part of the boomer generation, but our mom states that she is a Gen X. I need to say that.
So I compiled various resources that said what the generational ages were, because I was like, I'm tired of this. So I decided to go in baby boomers first, just because that's most likely. Baby boomers are from 1946 to 1964. Traditionally work ethic, face-to-face communication. Gen X is 1965 to 1980. They're known to be independent, skeptical, balanced between old school and new school tech. Millennials are 1981 to 1996. Digital pioneers value experiences over possessions.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. I mean, millennials have gone through, the digital pioneers thing, I kind of understand. That's like the end of Gen X and beginning of millennials. And I would say like shift in mindset, or just like, I don't know, the anxiety-filled warriors.
Yeah. I saw this one, I'll bring it up later, but Gen Z is 1997 to 2012. Digital, kind of, it's been a part of our life the whole time. Value authenticity and inclusivity. And then Gen Alpha is the current one, which is 2013 to the present. The first fully AI-driven generation, still emerging, which kind of makes it sound like they're robots.
Yeah, but they're not robots. I mean, like, yeah, there's so many things about them. Like, there's things that other generations wouldn't talk about, that because of all the changes throughout all the other ones, we now talk to kids about in certain aspects, of course, depending on like parenting and stuff like that.
I saw this video of this girl going, millennials are considered, is from millennial. She's like, we're so stressed out because we're the first people who don't have like the authentic grandparent experience.
Oh my God, I've seen that TikTok 4 times, and every single time I say not interested, because why do you keep showing it to me?
Which I feel like people fall into this like, oh, it's generational issues. It's not this. I'm like, no, it's a people issue. It's not a generational issue.
Mm-hmm. It's all about, in my mind, it's all because of like driven communication. Like, there is such thing as too much communication.
I think people just constantly think communication's verbal.
Yes.
And that communication comes in various like visuals. Like, communication is the 75 TikToks that I send Sarah a day.
And the 120 that I send Eve.
With communication and social media behavior, with TikTok and stuff like that, we also found that our algorithms are very different.
They're similar to a certain extent. Actually, sometimes to the point where like it's annoying, because we'll be like watching TikTok within the same hour and we're like sending each other. She's like, fucking read your messages. And I'm like, I hit send too.
You know what sometimes I do is I just send her the same video that she just sent me, just so she understands.
I know you do that. It's so annoying.
Honestly, sometimes though, it doesn't load. Like, when I'll open the messages first.
So many of the ones that you send me are like redacted at some point, and they like don't exist when I go to look at them.
as much as like we are alike, I feel like there is a lot of I'm Gen Z, but also I have like a hint of I'm like a millennial.
You're like a millennial, and then based on the things that I have seen from people who are Gen X, like almost like a combo-ish of that, even though like I'm off by a couple years. I'm off by like 5 years technically, but I feel like I'm some form of like gap generation. Like there should be like part A.
Oh my god, I kind of feel bad for like
Gen X sounds so fucking cool.
Gen X and Gen Z. Like I know I'm part of it, but like all the other ones are like boomers, millennials, because you're Gen Y, and then Gen Alpha. Like Gen Alpha sounds sick.
Oh my god, Charlie goes, "What am I?" I'm like, "Oh, yours is technically Gen Alpha." She goes, "That's dope. Alpha dog. What?" Like this, and then I was like, "Right."
Like I'm Gen Z. Mine just sounds like everything's completed.
Yeah, I know. I feel like there's always going to be people who are like, I don't relate, and I know that sounds very millennial of me if you're on social media, but like I feel like there is sometimes like a gap in process when it comes to it because like I was quote unquote a latchkey kid. Do you know what a latchkey is?
Nope.
So a latchkey is like when you had a house key and you would like walk home from school without a parent
Okay.
and go home and like open up the door. Our mom was a stay-at-home mom, but we also had there's a large gap between Eve and I if this is the first time that you're listening. And we have another sister that's in between us, and she was very young when I was like 8 years old or whatever. But like I was walking to school very early in life, and it was a normal thing because like my school wasn't that far away and all the kids would like walk together in the neighborhood, or we did the whole like if you where are your friends, like sometimes you would call or you would just be like, hey guys, so I'm gonna go ride my bike down and see if Crystal's available, and they'd be like, cool, if you end up staying there, like get her mom or ask if you can use the phone and like give us a shout. And you kind of go to like where the bikes were, or you would just be riding your bike down the road and everyone would be playing like street hockey. So there was a lot of things like that. It would be like, hey, so it's getting to nearing the end of summer vacation. When it starts getting dark, like I want you home by this time. Or our mom would like take my watch that I wore everywhere. I literally wore that Timex watch that Uncle Rod gave us, gave me for like 15 years. And she would like set a timer for the alarm to go off. And she'd be like, okay, if you need anything now, like, or food or whatever, like, just come home and I'll give it to you. Okay. Now, how about a water bottle? My Ghostbusters water bottle from my McDonald's Happy Meal kit strapped to my bike with all my other shit. And I'd go fuck off with all my friends and have fun. And there's a lot of people who are like, oh, like, I wasn't able to do that. I was in like a suburban area that was safe to a certain extent up until we had a wide known city killer that kind of caught everybody off guard. But I was able to go home and I did have that like independent nature. So like latchkey means like you had a key and you're able to do that because there was a lot of both parents started going back to work or parents got divorced. And that's where a lot of things like that kind of define like Gen X, or they would be like, oh, your babysitter's like Saved by the Bell or whatever because
Your parents weren't home.
your parents weren't home or whatever. Or, like your babysitter was like watching a movie while your mom went out to the grocery store. Like that wasn't weird. Or you were homesick. You were homesick and you had your Canadian Club soda, your Premium Plus saltines, your Gatorade. If you're really lucky.
Club soda?
Yeah, like the, what is it called?
Like Canadian Dry?
Like ginger ale.
Oh, okay.
And then you'd be watching like Price is Right or Maury. And like nobody cared. The funny thing was is like we all know that shit staged now. But like you'd be sitting there just watching like daytime television, or suddenly if you were really sick, you would get really into a soap opera.
Oh, telenovela.
Yeah. Like there was those kind of things. And then there's a lot of people who were like, oh, the millennials were just like coddled. And I was like, I personally don't feel like I was. But I also personally don't feel like a lot of folks will say, oh, I'm Gen X. I was a latchkey kid and I was raised on like not being ignored, but like another word for that, like raised on like just like living independently or whatever.
It's independence.
In accordance, like in line with your parents, while they like got stuff done. So like you were seen as like more grown, which is a lot of people are like, oh, millennials, they were just treated like babies. I'm like, I don't feel like I was, but I also feel like I was treated like a kid. So
I think like a lot of things that I hear about like millennials and like Gen X is that mainly millennials, they raise their kids like they don't want their kids to do the same things that they did when they were teenagers. Like, they're like, oh, I know what that means.
I know, but
Vibe.
but like society is so freaking different now too. Like there's shit that you can't get away with. Like you can't go get drunk in a fucking field anymore.
I know, but like, you know how it's like millennials and like Gen X was their parents. And it was like, oh yeah, probably Gen Xers like drank and like partied.
Yeah.
Millennials drink and party. And then it's like Gen Z, they're like, no, you're not allowed to.
Oh,
Which obviously, I mean the ones that are of legal age.
yeah. But that's the whole thing is there's a lot of, yeah, it's like, oh, well, I feel that because I wasn't raised this way, I'm going to do it. There's a lot of things you can correct, like talking about feelings. I love that there's a correction for that. I love that there's like noticing things and being more involved or having like a different balance and everything for work and like your everyday life. There's also a lot of like generalizations that I feel are thrown at a lot of people and a lot of assumptions. And like, I don't assume that a boomer is going to be like a grumpy racist, nor do I want them to assume that I'm going to be some like lazy fuck that just sits on their ass.
True.
Yeah.
I also feel like what kind of makes me giggle is like with millennials, it said like value experiences over possessions. And
I feel like that's you guys. I feel like that's Gen Z way more.
I feel like Gen Z, I saw this video and I sent it to Sarah. And it was like, if you think back to like a millennial and a Gen X, and they pick you up to school and say they're like blasting, I don't know what song would be embarrassing in your age range.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. So the specific TikTok, they were blaring like
They were playing Barbie.
Yeah, it was Barbie Girl by Aqua.
And like the Gen Z, I'm trying to think of like the Gen X millennial version. Okay, so the millennial version, like Gen X is the parent, they're pulling up, they're blasting Starts Out a song to like funnily embarrass their kid.
Let's go with like a Bruno Mars song. They just come
Cause you're amazing.
Yeah, like that. They do that. That's their Barbie Girl.
And then it's like the millennials like, oh my god, Mom, stop. You're embarrassing me. What does the Gen Z do? All of them just start dancing. Come on, Barbie, let's go, Barbie.
Oh, yeah, but then I saw one where there was a kid who was Gen Alpha, and he has given her harder than anybody else I've seen in another video. And it was like, oh, I'm going to test from this video that I saw. And I love that because I feel like there's so much more like you just like give less fucks is what I think the hopes always were, but give less fucks in like the best way possible. Like there was a lot of things that went on. And I mean, our dad had a La Cucaracha horn in his pickup truck, and he would literally roll up to elementary school and high school and play it. And most kids would be like, oh my God, I would die if my dad did that. And I'd be like, oh, my dad's here, guys. I got to go. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe your dad has that horn. I'm like, yeah, I know, it's awesome, right? Because I was taught literally to not give a fuck.
But I just mean like in general, like I feel like our family's different.
I know. I feel like there is like a lot of like, because there was a lot of like judgment or like society put certain pressures and stuff like that within millennials. There was like a lot of like stupid embarrassment, or people are like, oh, just my favorite thing is like, oh, just wait till your daughter gets till she's like 10 or 13 and she'll just get like crazy and whatever. And I'm like, but she might not, because she's my kid. Like I wasn't like that.
The other thing is the weight of fashion.
The way to, yeah.
Fashion, especially in like high school, I never felt like if I wasn't wearing like Aritzia or like Lululemon, that I was below people.
I know that's the whole thing that I think kind of sucks though, especially with social media and like the way that things happen, is like the generation that I grew up with, there was a lot of onus put on that. For a lot of people, it was like, you need to have this thing or whatever, and you can't have like the Target version of it, or like people look down on you. So it was like, then we were like, yo, we don't want our siblings to go through this, so let's like support them. Like this is like my personal view. So like a large, well, half of you guys, there's 3 of you, anyways, a third. No, 2/3?
2/3.
Wow. See, math. Not my friend did this time. 2/3 of my siblings are Gen Z. So I was like, okay, well, I want to make sure that there's like no emphasis. I'll do as much possible without being like over exaggerated. And then I'm going to do the same thing like for my kid, which I do that with my kid. And honestly, the kids that my kid goes to school with, they don't care about that stuff. And the moms and I have actually like talked about that before, and it's super cool. But then I watch videos, and I don't know if it's just like larger cities or anything like that. But like there was the little girl who was being like bullied because she's like, oh, mom, I really want to take your cup because it looks like a Stanley cup or whatever. Or she calls it a Stanley because, you know, it's like Kleenex. Like people just call it the thing that's the most popularized. She's like, mom, can I take your really pretty Stanley? It's like this bedazzled pink. She's like, oh yeah, baby, you can take my cup. She goes in and the girl walks over and goes, that's not a real Stanley. Let me see the bottom. It says Stanley on the bottom. Who fucking cares? Regina George?
It's a cup.
Like, and that was the whole thing. I was like, and then a bunch of people were commenting, like, I would love to send your kid a Stanley Cup. That is very sweet how much you care about this kid. And the mom was just like, I'm just like completely baffled. Like, people need to teach their kids how to be like fucking polite and understand different. Just because you don't have these certain things, like maybe it doesn't work or fit that person the right way, or maybe their budgets don't work for that. Like, move the fuck on as a cup. Like, this little girl was 9 years old.
The thing that pisses me off is the statement of, well, I didn't have it when I was a kid, so I'm giving it to my kid.
Oh, yeah.
I
That
can
brings
have
up
the-
this whole other issue.
So, like, I feel like that example falls into, like, the people who were, like, picked on because they didn't have the latest thing, so they were like, oh, I want to make sure that, like, my kid has it. Like, I saw this girl, and, like, she's a millennial, I believe, and she went to all the TJ Maxx stores, like, multiple times looking for this specific bag, or, like, beat-in bags. So if we went based off of bags, like, if this was how we identified generations, baby boomers would be, like, those fake leather bags that are kind of satchel bags, but not really.
Or, like, the most practical bag or purse that you could ever have.
Yes.
No bells, no whistles.
Gen
X
would be, like, a leather tote bag. But, like,
yeah,
a big
it would be
bag.
something, like, slouchy, or, like, the original Bagoo bags.
Yes.
That type of thing, yeah.
Millennial would either be, like, a fancy dancy tote bag, a saddle bag, or, like, a fanny pack. But, like, fanny pack, but then you also have the flip side of, like, it's like the fanny pack, or, like, you have the
bigger bag. Yeah, or that's the whole thing, is I feel like designer bags are, like, such a huge thing for, like, my generation. Like, I had this huge thing happen in my life. I'm going to purchase myself blank.
Yeah.
Which is, treat yourself. I don't have any fucks. But I feel like a lot more times, instead of it being like, I'm going to treat myself to a Dairy Queen sundae, it's like, I'm going to buy myself this $500 Michael Kors purse. And I'm like, wow.
Oh, more like $2,000. Gen Z is the free tote bag that you got in college that you were like, hey, it still doesn't have a hole.
Yes. Or the one that they're reusing at the thrift store, and all the stuff that you're thrifting and buying. Yes, they put it in there, and they're like, damn, this is still kind of a cute bag. I'm going to keep using this. Oh, I also feel like you guys are very backpack oriented. Not even just like mini backpacks. Like, I feel like you guys really made Herschel backpacks like an essential thing.
Or the
JanSport.
The Fasha Kasha Bravin.
I am so sorry. What just happened to your
The one that has the little fox on it that's like a square.
Oh, I
would
would
be very shiny. Oh my god, 1 second.
Like, I feel like you guys are like,
have a walk. Actually, no, I got it. Gen Z is either tote bags or a card wallet that attaches to your phone.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
Like, very
you can't forget the lip gloss holder.
Oh yes, either those two things. But like, I feel like
sometimes the lanyard thing. I feel like that's very like back and forth, like those phone charm wristlets or like strap things. I feel like they're either like old ladies or like very cutesy, very charm filled, ending millennial, beginning Gen Zers.
Which, like, I feel like I speak to the canvas tote because I definitely have removed vinyl off of one of the totes that I got in college, and I'm like, it doesn't have a hole. I'll just use that. Oh, I'm just thriving with how I'm getting rid of all of the plastic ones. Well, I'm donating anything that I'm donating. I'm putting in those like plastic, like TJ Maxx plasticky kind of goes away if you accidentally leave it in the sun ones to the thrift store. So then it's like my drop off, it's in a bag, but I'm not using like a garbage bag.
So that thing that you did right there, that's very Gen Z of you.
Thank you.
That's very much like, don't worry, bitches. I'm mindful and I'm making sure it's still used, but I am repurposing it. And that's a compliment, by the way. That was not a negative thing. I
didn't take that as a negative thing. I took it as like, we're not just like throwing things out to throw things out. I feel like though, like that's been a thing for a while, is like I get a big box from something. Like if I ordered a piece of furniture and I'm like, okay, perfect, I'm gonna use this box for like thrift store stuff. Then I'm like, oh, it's full, gotta bring it to the thrift store.
And then there's my house. a box comes into the house, the thing comes out, and my child giggles and runs away with it. And she's like, I'm making a fort. I'm making a robot. And I'm like, okay, like, cool. I'm not paying for any of that.
Oh yeah, so
Already here. Why not? I'm also, I know that there's like a stigma out there about millennials keeping boxes. I'm not a box keeper type person. I'll make sure that all the information's removed, which, fun fact, if you have Apple products or a majority of other like cell phone, laptop products, the barcode sticker on the back actually has the serial number and a lot of the important information sometimes when they're scanning it at the store. So just remove that before you toss the box that you no longer need.
I feel like a big thing too is hair. Like hair trends.
Gen X, the hair was either like the higher the hair, the closer to God, I think was the saying. Or it would be like slicked down, like very like grunge.
I feel like,
again, very simplistic. Half were like smothered in makeup and the other half were just like, I feel like black eyeliner really became like a solid thing for Gen Xers.
I don't know like where this stemmed from, and this like I feel like hair to millennials is
the everything.
Is like a part of their identity.
And dare I say that we are the blonde generation. I feel like most people will be like, somebody has gone through a blonde phase, either inadvertently because they were getting like streaks or whatever put in their hair. But it was like every single time you went to the hairdresser and said you wanted to do something different with your hair, they were always like, oh, we could put some blonde streaks in it, or we could do this. And it was always like bleaching it was always like the big thing. And like, there's a lot of people whose hair color is not naturally blonde, and I would never see them as anything other than blonde, and it looks really great on them. And then there's some people where it's just like, it just like washes them out. But I literally feel like we are probably, if you were to look at everybody over time, we're probably the ones who dye our hair either the most, but mostly it's blonde.
I would also say, I think that your generation gives off the like, I want the hair that I can't have, that I don't have.
Oh, like the extension wearing rocking ones. I see that.
Yeah, which is like totally okay. Like I thought for the longest time that I wanted extensions because I was like, oh my god, I just want like long luscious hair.
You have long luscious hair.
I just had to like
Christ, and your hair gets like 4 inches longer. I feel like you guys like fuck around with your face a lot less. Like there was girls like getting nose jobs in high school when I was a kid, or getting like boob jobs in high school. Like not even full frontal lobe developed getting that shit done. And like it was a common gift from parents to their kids. Like you would get like a brand new car, or like the hand-me-down that your hand-me-down, like a lot of them Dodge Neons. But like you would get that, and then it would be like, people would be like, oh, like is there anything you want done, like a nose job, or like, and it was like common and accepted.
I want to say we give off like, I'm going to say medically necessary, and like medically could be like psychological or not. Like if people in Gen Z a lot of the time, if they're getting nose jobs, it's because they have deviated symptoms or like they have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
And if like they're getting their boobs done, it's because they're getting breast reductions because their boobs hurt, or like I've seen so many. I think because we see the effects of like bleaching your hair a lot and then your hair just can't handle it. Yeah. Or like implant poisoning.
I feel like honestly it's like a really solid line. It's either all of the colors doing your hair all the time, or literally nothing. They do nothing to their hair. Yeah. Like it's like just very simple. Like meanwhile it was like, you have to do this, you have to do this. Like you have to buy the hair industry standard things from your hairdresser. You have to buy this. And if you don't get that, then you're not protecting your investment. Or if you don't do this, you don't do this. And Gen Zs are like, fuck you, I do not have the budget. And you know what? This shit works. My hair's washed and my hair's clean, and I'm just not going to fuck with my hair.
I think biggest difference between millennials and Gen Z, eyebrows.
Well, obviously. I mean, we're like over here getting them like fucking tattooed on our faces and put back on, and like slowly growing them out to try to make them like, you know, revisit back instead of like shaving them off. But I feel like the trends were like so extreme, and they lasted so much longer because we didn't have social media.
Like I've never like I've waxed my eyebrows. Actually, you've waxed my eyebrows once.
Yes.
And
you asked. I did not.
Oh yeah, she didn't like hold me down and wax my eyebrows.
No.
I have what I call dolphin fins. So my eyebrows like kind of make a straight line and then they curve, but there's like a little like corner.
Yeah.
And for the longest time I was like, oh, they're dark, they're thick. They really hurt when you pluck.
Like, you have very thick, coarse hair.
And to anybody who's like, oh, if you do it enough, then your eyebrows will hold that shape.
Oh, that's a mother.
I'm so sorry. I have been plucking the bits of hair that I don't want, like the flyaway random scarce hairs.
Yeah.
For 13 years. And you know what?
They still hurt.
They still come. They still hurt. And they do not go away.
I know. I think there's a lot of things like things that we were, I don't even taught by parents or taught by society that were like an essential thing was like a lot of upkeep things. And I feel like a lot of Gen Zs are like, fuck that shit. Like, you guys are very, like, we were like full beat. Like, every single day you were walking out the house looking like Laura fucking Lee. You were looking
like that's like commitment.
Gorgeous. But like, it's sometimes, and it's like full glam sometimes is a thing. And like, it's a thing for us. Like, it just like, it feels good. But also knowing that it's fully okay to just like wear some tinted moisturizer and some mascara or just go out barefaced. Except, have you seen that TikTok where it's like, they have done some studies that female psychopaths are more likely to go barefaced. And I was like, that is the best thing I've ever heard. But like, I feel like it's like you guys are almost like desensitizing. What's the word I'm looking for? De-influencing?
I want to say, so if I was to give like millennials and Gen Z, we don't really talk about the other generations. We might like accent on it because we're not a part of them.
Yeah.
But if I was to give like millennial a word, it would be presence, and like us would be convenience.
Yeah.
Because so millennials like would set their alarm to wake up at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. to have time to do that, to put the full beat in, to do this, do that. I remember when we went to a concert last year.
Pardon me.
And
sorry, I'm very late burpy.
I think it was like whenever we went to our last concert. We're getting ready at your house. And I'm thinking that I'm putting on a whole bunch of makeup when I put more than one color of eyeshadow on. That's not my bronzer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'll do this. Oh, well, maybe I'll wear a colored lip gloss. I look over to Sarah. She's got a full beat on. I didn't know what baking was. And then she's like, oh, yeah, we'll put the powder under there. You know, in the 24 years of life, I think I've maybe used setting powder twice.
Oh. I'm just always afraid it's gonna, like, I touch my face a lot.
No, but I just never, like, I look over and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm, like, the full, like, Marie Antoinette. And I'm
so pale too, and at one point my blush is so bright, I just saw me be like, with the curly wig looking over.
I'm like, what you doing? And she's like, I'm baking. And I was like, what? Like, because you need,
I'm baking, and you said, oh my god, are there cookies upstairs? And I was like, what? Oh, no, I mean, like, my face. Like, the whole thing. Like, I grew up with Candy Johnson as my YouTube person. What's her name? Bethany, Laura Lee, Jaclyn Hill. And it was like, you guys are going to the club a lot of the times. Or it was like a whole thing. Like, you went out and like we were dumb, and I'll admit it. Like, we'd go out with like a full beat of makeup on, 80 pounds of hairspray in our hair. Some people had bump hits. I didn't, because my hair was already freaking bald hair. So thick. But like, we would go out and wear like half business attire and then have like a micro skirt and like some boots or some like heels that were completely unnecessary, and like no coat because we didn't want to do coat check.
I felt like millennials felt like it was a requirement that when they leave their house that they had to give like the best presents. And Gen Z's like, I need powdered sugar for my cupcakes that I'm making for myself. While I'm already covered in frosting, I might as well just go.
Yeah, there was some weird shift, and I don't know like when it happened, but like when I went to school, a lot of girls wore like pajama pants, and some of them would wear like baby tees or crop tops with them. And other people like me would look like Adam Sandler. And I mean that in the most loving way possible. But I'd be wearing like oversized sweatpants or PJs and like an oversized sweater 95% of the time. It was our dad's. Like, and then it was just like, you turn like 19 and it's like, oh, you're going to go out and you want to be social and be part of like society in the world. And that, like, this is how you dress. Like, I look back now of like what I rolled into for my interview for like the job I was at for 10 years. I like came in and I looked like Vivian from Legally Blonde, Selma Blair. I legitimately had like a button down shirt and then I had like a sweater over top. And I even had like the thick headband in my hair. And I went in like my dress pants, and like Buddy, who's my supervisor, who I still talk to this day, rolls in a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. And I was like, I misunderstood the assignment. I look like I could be his mom. It's either like we went like full old school or just like so new school that it was like awkward and inappropriate.
You know, like you guys popped off, and it was like, no, it's
Every day
and I'm like,
was a motherfucking fashion show, or we were going to go like purchase junk food and just like look like bums.
going to the concert. You were like, I'm going to, like, if you think of a girl going to a concert in the movie.
Oh, I was going to
I
was going to a rock concert, or I was going to we were going to Evanescence. I was going to a rock concert for a band that I was obsessed with in high school. I still love now, and I always dreamed to go to one of their concerts. So of course, like I was wearing like pleather leggings. I was wearing like a pleather like biker jacket. I was wearing like I think I was just wearing like a Guns N' Roses t-shirt or something.
Yeah.
I had my hair back like all funky. Well, my hair was like doing some things then, so that was besides the point. And then yeah, like I had full beat and I want to say like red lipstick.
Yes.
Winged eyeliner, everything. And I was like, I'm fucking going out. And then I had like boots or something on.
You were like Chelsea Bates.
Yeah.
I was wearing my Bloodstones that I wear every day. I was wearing spider leggings from Costco, a t-shirt, and a jean jacket.
Yeah, like we love a theme.
And
I feel like millennials like love a theme. Not saying that Gen Z don't, but I feel like we love a theme, but like we love a theme to like such a fucking extreme. It's not even funny.
Like we give off the vibes of like, we found this costume in our closet. And millennials are like, I made this costume.
Yes.
With blood, sweat, and tears. That little drop of blood is from the pins of my
like you do like the cutesy Disney bounding, and we were making the full-on fucking outfits.
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of the time too, the sayings that people say that half the time I don't understand. And I'm like, what is this? Like, I still to this day, like, I saw Ariana Grande in a Wicked interview going, I don't know what holding space means. And I don't either. I thought holding space was like clearing a view to appreciate. I should Google it. Holding space essentially means being fully present emotionally and physically without judgment for someone else or something, allowing them to be heard and understood without interruption or unsolicited advice.
We just call that showing the fuck up.
Or like spotlight.
Yeah.
But I was like, she had said holding space, and I'm sitting there going, holding space for what? Like, are we holding the door? What are we holding?
Yeah. Okay, so I pulled up some of them because I was laughing pretty freaking hard. Take a chill pill.
Oh, yeah.
Now, okay. Gag me with a spoon.
I'm sorry.
Oh, see, I felt like
gag me with a spoon?
So disgusted or unimpressed. Ugh, gag me with a spoon.
That sounds like the beginnings of an eating disorder.
Totally rad.
Yeah.
Where's the beef? That was a Wendy's ad.
Yes.
Fun fact, Mom and Dad had the face cloth and the hand towel with the where's the beef lady.
Of course they did.
Talk to the hand because the face ain't listening.
That's too long for me.
Or it'd just be talk to the hand. Millennials. So when I typed it in, this is what we got. One of them I have never said in my life. Adulting.
Yeah.
Say it all the time. FOMO. Fear of really missing out. FOMO. Or YOLO. Yeah, we love ourselves. We love ourselves an acronym.
Epic.
One thing I've never said, on fleek. I feel like it would be more like for on fleek, for those of you who don't know, it's like you're looking perfect or well groomed, be like, oh, your outfit's dope or rad. Like we said a lot of stuff like that.
So fetch.
We say fetch for fun. Sorry, not sorry, fake apology, often sarcastic.
That seems rude. I don't like that one. Yeah.
The struggle is real.
That's millennial?
Yes.
I'd count them more as like Gen Z, like adulting and Gen Z, I'd say is those.
I was like, but we like, because millennials are perceived as those who have like gone through being a kid or being adults, and then somehow during the pandemic just immediately reverted back to like, I will collect everything from my childhood that I didn't have.
You know what? One sentence I just thought of that, like, every time you say it to a different generation, they get a different vibe. When I say that's sick.
Oh, yeah.
do you think that I'm saying like vomiting and disgusting?
No,
or like that's sick
all the time.
So if I say that's sick, if I ask, usually like we're still on millennials, they think I'm saying like it's disgusting. I'm like, no, that's sick. Like that's cool.
Oh, I'd be like, that's dope.
And that's nice.
Yeah. The ones that came up for your generation is it's giving, which I've
Oh no, it's
used to
that's not a
describe.
complete sentence.
Yeah, used to describe vibes or aesthetic. It's giving main character energy.
No, I've said it to you yesterday when you were putting on different glasses.
Yeah.
I was like, it's giving like glasses not there.
Okay, I like when it ends. Like, some people are like, it's giving, and I'm like, it's giving what? Like, finish the fucking sentence. But I like when it's giving elementary school teacher. Fabulous. I love it. No cap.
Oh, yeah.
I finally know what this is. Emphasizing honesty means no lie.
Yeah.
No idea.
It's like when you, like, your generation will say, like, Drew Barrymore is the best host ever, period. And, like, my generation would say Drew Barrymore is the best TV host, no cap. It means the same thing.
And then, slay.
We judge people who say slay. Slay.
It was the other one that people...
Ew.
Or, you say this all the time. It hits different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it gives me the ick.
Or the one that I, like, was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Riz.
Oh, because it just means charisma.
I know it means charisma, but like when they first said Riz, I thought they were saying Ritz. I'm like, are you calling somebody crackers?
Okay, so I learned something and I had to like break it down, and I didn't know what it means a long time. So you know when someone says your outfit's fire?
Yeah.
And your accessories are ice. If you say you look like you have drip today, it just means your whole outfit's great because fire melts ice.
And see, when I hear drip, I thought it was a diamond thing. Like a thing about like nice diamonds.
I think the other thing too is millennials will be like, I want it, I got it, I'll buy it. When Gen Z's like, I want it, I see it, I'll make it.
Yeah. That's a pretty solid one.
Or like, I feel like too, millennials are very like, there's like a half of them that are like, I used to buy this all the time and like this is great. And then it's like, well, now I'm a non-toxic almond mom because I don't want my kids to be exposed.
I feel like millennials are the Instagram mom generation. Where like there's like a lot of pressure and emphasis put on social media, but like it had to be curated, had to be on a very specific way and in a specific neutral aesthetic type of generation.
Curls.
I know it's so funny. If I brush out curls though, they go out all weird. So I just like don't curl up the whole.
Okay, also to millennials, by brushing out your curls, I don't mean pull out a palette brush and brush your hair. I mean take a white tooth comb or use your fingers.
Hey, just use your fingers.
You don't need
to be Shirley Temple.
No. Also, put down the mermaid wafer.
Oh my God. I just love how all those tools come back. Like I laughed so hard. I said to Eve, I was taking, whenever everyone was like going through their houses because we had nothing else to do during the pandemic. And I was like, oh my God, I still have this 3-barrel waver. This is so funny. Do you want this? She's like, no, I don't want that. I'm like, watch, I will donate this and it will be the next big thing because like some Gen Z influencer will buy one or get sent one and they'll make it a huge thing. Literally 2 weeks later. It was like that whole thing. I don't know why. I feel like millennials really like to torture themselves because why the fuck did we think it was a good idea to have curling irons without the tips on the end? Because like you would like hold the base and the clips and the tip and you would like roll it. And then there was like this like 10-year span where it was like if you didn't have a curling rod where it had the heat glove and no clamp, like you were just like so behind or whatever. And one of my curling irons went out to pasture. So like I got in the amount of fucking times I burnt myself on my face, my neck, or like my hair or my hand because I'd forget to put the fucking glove on and I go to grab the end.
I never understood like wands. I am a curling iron girl through and through.
It just works better and it's so much more convenient because it's already holding everything. Like there's less steps. It's more convenient.
Also, a lot of the time, I just follow the dupes. Like, I'm like, oh, I don't need that. It's fine.
I know. I feel like the dupes have gone out of control. Like it used to be like a $10 to $15 difference if you wanted to get like this specialty item versus the quote unquote like knockoff or the generic version of it. And now it's anywhere from like paying $40 for a blow dryer to paying $600.
So the 600 ones, so like Dyson, Shark, we all wear them. I was like, oh, well, I don't know if I'd use it. I got this thing. It's called, I think the brand's called Gem. It has the same, like, thing and, like, does the same.
Are you talking about the curling thing?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
I don't know what it's called either.
Air curler.
I don't know.
Air styler. Yeah, something. Whatever. I got it. It's great. It works great. I just use that. Half the time, I just put my hair in a ponytail or a bun. Oh my god, my other favorite thing is watching people, like, Gen Z. Not, like, I'm gonna use heatless curlers.
Oh, yeah.
That's all. Millennials, I'm gonna use heatless curlers. I'm gonna tape my mouth. I'm gonna do a face jaw thing. I'm also going to put fake tanner in the form of contour and fake tan my body.
Okay, so what I think is so funny is, like, for so long and hard, people have fought against of, like, women stereotypes, and this, like, puts us down. And then it's like we've allowed ourselves to become, like, more feminine over time, specifically when it comes to, like, women or those who identify as women. I find it really funny because if you actually look back at, like, I Love Lucy,
Yeah,
stuff like that, in, like, the 1950s, like, they have their hair in curlers, they have their, like, little bonnet cover over top, they're putting the Pond's cold cream on their face. I'm just like, oh, here we go again. Like, there's, like, the cute, I'm going to do my 3 product-based skincare routine. I'm going to do this so that way I wake up. Or the girl who's like, I dye my eyebrows, I dye my eyelashes, so I don't have to put any makeup on. I could just roll out of bed, throw some tinted sunscreen on, and I'm good to go. And, like, she even does, like, lip tint or whatever. That is, like, Gen Z. Like, and maybe that whole process takes, like, less than an hour, and they do it once a week. But the millennial is, like, to the extreme, like you said. Like, it's not just heatless curlers. Or they have, like, 3 Velcro rollers in their hair. And then they also have the heatless roller, like, you know, that, like, long satin tube thing. They have that. They've got the fake tan on. They're having the everything shower.
they got this satin pillowcase that they bought for Tanner.
I'm like, okay, guys, I'm exhausted watching all the stuff that you're explaining. First off, this is me, like, taking everything off.
Oh, that's fluffing.
Is that what it is? That? Yeah. Okay, I thought so. And it was like, oh, this is me taking everything off. And I'm like, oh my God. Also, like, does nobody else, like, thrash in their sleep? I understand that a lot of people are having issues, like, sleeping, and they were making, like, those sleepy girl mocktails. But, like, folks who were doing that whole, like, beauty routine thing, like the extreme beauty routine, then they're, like, making these complicated drinks, these very specific snacks, but then they're also journaling and doing all this other shit. And I'm like, girl, when the fuck are you doing all this shit?
When are you sleeping?
Yeah, when are you sleeping? Like, you're doing all this. If that's, like, your wind down and it's over a couple hours, but of course, like, they cut videos and stuff like that. But, like, do you seriously do that every night? Hey everyone, so this ended up being, like, a really long conversation about generational differences. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock off the last 20 to 30 minutes of this episode, and then I will be posting it on a Wednesday. And come and hear some more. We dive in more into like diet culture, food expectations, and how more simplified our Gen Z counterparts are to our millennial counterparts. So for now, stay as warped and twisted as ever, and see you on Wednesday. Come back next week, we'll be right by your side. Perfectionist, we've got so much to say. Real, raw, and ready to talk today. We'll be back next Monday with more in store. Catch you then, we're always here for more.